Hello, hello. This is Sir David the Bard. I'm doing a video here on Thanksgiving Day 2024, and I want to do a video that I've wanted to do for a long time. I don't know if I can do this all in 1 hour or not. The title of this video subject is going to be human sexuality. Now, am I an expert? No. I'm just an ordinary guy. I'm 77 years old. I have a little experience. I've been married 7 times. And so I've had a little bit of sexual experience, if you want to call it that, with different women. And they're not one-night stands. I've been married 4 years. I've been married 9 years. I've been married 18 years. I've been married another 18 years. So this is not, moving from person to person. I do have a couple of master's degrees, and I have taught a little bit of human sexuality. And the reason I'm bringing this up, I guess, at this particular time is, as a counselor, I've had to counsel many people having to do with relationships, having to do with male and female and gender differences, and psychologically, emotionally, financially, spiritually, etc. differences between men and women. Now, I guess I'm just putting this out if it's helpful. If it's not, just throw it in the trash. I have no agenda. I have almost 2,000 videos now between Sir David the Bard and Cockroach Disability, and I've never made 1 penny. Not 1 penny. Now, I know that's not popular. I know a lot of you that are on YouTube and TikTok and other platforms, you like that advertisement money. I don't. Truth is free. Truth is free. I'm proud of myself that I've worked, 13 years now on my platforms. I've never gotten 1 penny. Not 1 penny from anybody for any reason. My whole motivation is to be kind, to be reaching out, to be sharing my knowledge, my experience, and my education. So let's get right to the issue. When human beings, I'm going to put this with you deciding you're dating someone seriously. Hopefully you're over 18 and you have implied consent that you're capable of deciding who you want to marry, and you're going to determine how they look, their financial ability, etc. Here's the main gender differences. Men are pretty simple. I hate to say it. I'm not embarrassed because that's the way God made me. Men are pretty simple. The damn truth is that the men, if you feed us, you let us have sex with you anytime we want, we're pretty happy campers. We don't really require a lot more. It's nice if you cuddle us, if you whisper in our ear, if you scream like a banshee in bed. Who knows? Who knows? What I'm trying to say here is the differences. Women have expectations in a relationship, gender-wise, and men do. Now, the women are much more complex. And I guess I'm putting this out a little more to the women because men, like I said, you just throw us a bone and we give you a boner, and that's the end of the whole story right there. The female gender is very, very complex. Their bodies are much more complex than a male body. Their emotions are much more complex. Their intellect and their intelligence, those combinations in a female body are extremely flexible, dynamic, and changing day by day, sometimes hour and minute by minute. The female who basically is looking to have a mate, one of the main things that a female measures is his ability to support her and her children. David Buss, which was a little bit of a mentor of mine in my master's degree, I copied some of his research. I didn't plagiarize it. I was inspired by attraction. What are females attracted to? Well, the number one thing is security. Men, the number one thing is basically beauty and youth and reproductive ability. A woman is very different. A woman is looking for somebody who has both feet on the ground, have a reasonable education or a trade history, a man who is responsible. Hopefully he's not going to be a drug addict, he's not going to be an alcoholic, and he's not going to be what I used to call, we have another video, rotten to the core. Someone that's going to be faithful to her and her children and not betray the relationship. Now here's one of the biggest things we all wrestle with. Women are monogamous. There are some societies, I've watched them just in the last couple of weeks researching, that are matriarchal, and that the woman runs the society and she has more than one husband. It's an aberration. It's not very many. Probably 95%, even 98% of all human societies are basically the man being in charge. Now, the women want somebody who's not an asshole. I hate to say it, but a lot of women do like the bad boys. I don't know why. Maybe that's why I've been married 7 times. I'm kind of a bad boy. Now, what is a bad boy? Well, I don't drive Harley Davidsons. I don't have a wallet in my pocket with a chain on it. I don't have, you know, Levi's with holes in it, and I'm not in criminal activity. A woman wants a man, basically, that has a pretty good sense of humor. She likes to laugh. Women do enjoy men that can make them laugh, other than tickling them. She basically wants somebody who will be faithful to her. She wants somebody that's going to be honest. And she wants somebody that's going to listen to her. Now, this is a big difference between men and women. We don't care if a woman listens to us or not. We just say, honey, could you get me a beer? Honey, can you get me a Coke? Would you bring my potato chips in here? We talk for results. Men talk for results. We talk to get something, and once we get it, we're happy. The other gender, females, are not that way. Females talk to express themselves. They talk about what they hope, they dream, they wish, they want, how they feel. Now, here's one of the biggest problems between the two genders. Men don't care. Generally, I have to be honest. Generally, men don't care how a woman feels. Now, it doesn't mean that if she's hurt or she needs help or whatever, of course we care that way. But when she wants to just talk, honey, we need to talk. Every man in the world goes, oh my God, here we go. And now he knows we're not going to talk. He's going to listen. She wants to say things that are on her heart, on her mind, and in her emotional situation. Now, we don't vary that much. You know, men, you know, we have to get our sperm out every, whatever, 3 or 4 days or whatever, and that's a need for the male sex. But women have to basically be driven pretty much by their hormones. There's some times of the month she wants this, sometimes she wants that, sometimes she wants to be left alone, sometimes she wants to be respected and understood. She is an ongoing, dynamic, emotional volcano. Now, because of her body, a woman is very different because her hormones And the cycles that she goes through, every day of her life is a different day hormonally than the last day. Men don't understand that. Men, we wake up and 20 years later we wake up feeling the same way. Well, women aren't that way. They wake up every 10 or 15 minutes and those hormones could have changed, and now they're crying for no reason at all. Well, that upsets us as men. We don't like to see our significant others crying, and we don't generally understand that emotion. Now, men cry. I cry sometimes, and other men have cried, but that is not a common expression of emotion in men, but it is in women. There's a lot of times you can tell when a woman comes into the room, you say, honey, how are you? Fine. What's wrong? Nothing. Now, I don't know what nothing means, and no other man in his right mind knows what nothing means. We can see her face. We can see how heavy she's walking on the ground. We can see her slamming the doors open and throwing her shit down on the ground. We know something's going on, but we don't know what it is. And now she's going to, I don't know if it's a game. I don't think it's a game. I don't think they purposely want to just fuck with us. I don't believe that. I think it's their nature. They don't want to talk about it right now. And sometimes we will probe them and say, well, honey, I can see that your mouth is going to fall off. I can see that your head is hanging below your chest. I can see there's something wrong. And she'll go, no, no. They love that word. That's a woman's favorite word. We hate that when it comes to sex. No. So it's very hard for a man to understand how difficult and how emotional and how up and down, sometimes hourly, that a woman and her hormones connect to her emotions and to her intellect. Now, sometimes I have to say as a man, I'm not sure that any time or many times her hormones connect to anything. They just are there. So here's what I try to do in counseling, especially with young couples. Now, you can get people that are over 30, even over 40. By that time, if they don't have a lot of this stuff straightened out, they're never going to have it straightened out. But you young people from 20 till 35, there's a big difference between what men need and want in a relationship and what women need and want. And they're basically diametrically opposed. 50% of the population get divorced. I'm not surprised it's not 90%. I'm not surprised. Trying to put those two psychological, emotional, financial, spiritual, sexual diversities together is like a lottery. It's like a lottery. Here's what I advise myself and my wife and my children and people I counsel. We have to have understanding. We have to have a lot of patience. And it's not just men that have to understand women. It's women have to understand men. One of the things I see very heavily in relationships is, I'm going to say the word pornography. 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 Women don't like their men generally. Now some. I'm going to say probably 70 to 80% of the women don't want their partners looking at pornography. And men are visual. Men are visual. Women don't know that. They hear it. They intellectually read it, but they don't know that. I can't explain, and I'm constantly amazed, even at myself and when I study these things, that when a man sees a naked woman, breast, and a vagina, we go crazy. It is a magnet that is unbelievable. Has nothing to do with our emotion, has nothing to do with our brains, has nothing to do with morality, has nothing to do with anything other than we see little vaginas and boobs, we are interested. Does that mean we want to marry that vagina? Does that mean we want to talk to those boobs? That we want to get rid of our partner and go to the porn site and look that girl up? Not in a million years. You girls don't understand that. You don't understand it. You know, you girls will go to your romance novels. We don't stop you from doing that. That excites you. You may get all wet reading a romance novel. We go, they're not going to marry the book. Well, men look at pornography. They're not going to marry the phone. They're not going to marry the YouTube. So the genders are stimulated very, very different sexually. Now, one of the big problems I see is women do not understand. Men are going to release that sperm, whether you like it or not, on a regular basis. That's part of our body. It builds up. If it doesn't go off with us masturbating, it'll go off in what we call a nocturnal emission. In the middle of the night, you wake up in the morning, there's sperm all over the bed because you had a dream about sex. Now, why would a woman be all upset about that? A man masturbating, getting out the sperm, letting new sperm be developed, and men say, well, gee, you can have your period any time. It's okay if you discharge that egg and the uterus lining sloughs off and you have your period. What if we came to you and said, oh, I'll tell you what, I'm not going to masturbate and look at vaginas, but you're not going to have a period. Does that make sense? Of course not. It's a natural biological function for a woman to discharge an egg from the left side 1 month, right side the next month, etc. Comes through, it doesn't get fertilized, the uterine wall sloughs off and they bleed, and they start their cycle 28 days again. Now for a man to say, oh honey, I won't look at pornography and discharge my biological needs, but you can't discharge your biological needs either. You keep all those eggs in that little sack that you have when you were a little baby girl. You never get any new eggs. I get millions and millions of new sperm every damn day that I have to get rid of, but you only have to get rid of one little egg each month, the next month from the other side of the other ovary. These are biological facts. And again, I've done videos on the difference between the truth and the facts. The truth and the facts. And the middle of those two things is nothing but stupidity. We don't do our homework. We don't understand the female body. We don't understand the male body. And females especially cannot understand men being visual. Now, my daughters and all my wives, men are dogs. Okay, see, we bark. I think they mean that we will just fuck anything that moves. That's going to be a true statement. If a tree moves, we'll jump it and hump it. Now, why can't a man say, oh, all she does is bleed. She just bleeds on purpose. She just bleeds. I don't like that shit. She just bleeds all the time. See, it has to be reasonable. It has to be factual. Women have their own truth. If he really loved me, he wouldn't look at her vagina. He wouldn't look at those people doing those things because he's being untrue to me. He betrays me. He's going to look up the address of that whore on the YouTube and he's going to look her up and he's going to marry her and give all of his money to her and support her children. That's stupid. That's stupid. I don't know. I didn't build the male body. God did. When our eyes see vaginas and boobs, we are magnetized to those particular things. That makes us sexually excited. It makes us want to take the sperm out of our body. It makes us want to have stress-free after the sperm comes up. We usually like to go to sleep and relax. The females don't understand. Males are not dogs. Males are different. We are visual. And I hate to tell you, if you don't think that your mate, who's a male, masturbates, you're stupid. You're stupid. You're going to have truth. Your truth. Your girlfriend say this, your mom says that, your aunt says that, and the church says this. You're going to have your truth. The facts are that every male, with few exceptions, is going to masturbate right into old age. You don't like it? Talk to God. Talk to God. I didn't make men that way. And God made you bleed every month. I can't say, don't bleed, don't bleed. That's not fair. That little egg has to come out. Those sperm have to come out. Now, just because it's pleasurable for man to have that sperm come out, is that fair? I don't know. Ask God. You don't get a lot of pleasure when you go, oh, I just ovulated. Oh, you know, you don't do that. There isn't that pleasure standard with a female ovulating and dropping that egg out. But it happens to be that man enjoys having the sperm come out. Now, there's a big difference. Understanding each gender. If you're married to a woman, you better understand a woman. If you're married to a man, you better understand a man. So, again, I didn't make men, but I know if I see a vagina, I like that. I really like, and it doesn't have to be my wife's vagina. It can be a strange vagina. It can be unbelievable different things. Now, the other thing I don't think women know is this. Every vagina looks different to us. You females generalize a vagina is a vagina. And that's the way females see vaginas. Men see it very differently. Again, don't kill the messenger. I'm just telling you the truth. Every vagina that we see is different, unique, tempting. It's not like any other. It's like a fingerprint. It's like a fingerprint. That makes it interesting. Now, here's something that I think is somewhat comical between the genders. The sexual tendencies of men and women is after you've had a fabulous, fabulous sexual encounter with your partner, you may go, some go hours, some go days, some go weeks, some go months, but it builds up again. It builds up again. And so the same attractions are repetitive in a relationship. They're repetitive in a relationship. Thank God. Because if it wasn't, your partner would look at your vagina and go, well, yeah, it's kind of interesting, but I don't want to see that ever again. And they go on to another one, and another one, and another one. Somehow God set it up that, yeah, that's kind of interesting right now, and gee, in 2 or 3 days or a couple of, it's interesting again. I don't know why. I'm just giving you the facts, not the truth, the facts. If you and I want to have a decent relationship with the opposite gender, we have to understand ourselves and we have to understand the other gender. The bodies are very, very different. The minds are different. The hormones are different. The expectations, the morality, the acceptance and expectations are all very different. So, here's what I say. Why should a woman have absolute control over a man's sexuality, her partner? I'm going to tell you when to have sex. I'm going to tell you how to have sex. I'm going to tell you when you can do this, when you can do that. I'm going to tell you everything, and you have basically no ability to have input. Is that fair? Is it fair that a man says, oh, you got to put out every night. We got to bang the headboard onto the drywall till it falls off the wall every night. You have, you can't do that and he can't do that. You're going to have to compromise. You're going to have to bring the truth and the facts closer together and get rid of a lot of the stupidity in between. Here's what I suggest as a counselor. Women, your man is going to be sexual his whole life. He builds millions and millions of sperm every day in his testes, and when it builds up to a certain point, those sperm need to come out just like your little egg needs to come out of your ovary. You can take that out for him. You can take it out together in a sexual encounter, or he's going to take it out looking at another vagina and ejaculate, masturbate, and then new sperm will come again and a new egg will line up in you next month on the other side to come out too. If you say to your husband, to your boyfriend, to your man, you can't look at porn, you have to look at my vagina only. Well, that's okay as long as you can look at it 24/7, 365, all the time. But if you say, well, no, I don't, not tonight, I have a headache, no, I got to get up early in the morning. You can't say, you can't look at my vagina, but you can't look at any other vagina either. What's fair? Is that going to work? No, it's not going to work in a million years. Because he's going to lie and say, I don't want to look at anyone's vagina. I just want your vagina. And I don't care if I just see it once a year. That's good enough for me. He's going to lie. Or she's going to lie and say, well, basically, you're not allowed to look at any pornography. I can give my vagina to you whenever I want, however I want. And if it's not often enough, fuck you. That's not going to work, ladies. It's not going to work, man. Not going to work. There's going to be that conflict. So, if men know what women need and want and how their bodies work, and women know what men need and want, then you're going to be able to compromise, bring facts, and bring truth closer together. Now, things will change over time. Sex is really hot before you have your first baby. Once she gets pregnant, then pretty soon her whole mind changes. Your sperm didn't change. She's uncomfortable. Her breasts hurt. She's scared the baby is sick. She's throwing up all the time. You can't say to your sperm, oh, by the way, she's having a baby, so put your production down to 0 until next year. Don't worry, you don't need to ejaculate, you don't need to come out, she's having a baby. Silly. Stupid. Silly and stupid. A woman can regulate the man's sperm coming out. Oral sex. A lot of people like oral sex. A lot of people, some people like anal sex. Some people like different techniques of sexuality, positions, trapeze mirrors, who knows? Everybody is a little bit different, but couples have to compromise. I don't know why women have to have a period every month. That little egg comes out, her vagina bleeds, and good Lord, it's a mess for 3 or 4 days. I don't know why. But I don't have the right to say, don't do that shit. Don't do that shit. And I don't know why when I look and I say, oh my gosh, look at that vagina, it's different than that one. Oh, that's different, that's different. Oh. And then she said, oh, you can't do that. You can't do that. Well, I don't know how you put these two creatures together. And 50% of the time, it doesn't work. 50% of the time, it just doesn't work. So, I'm advising me, my wife, you, my kids, everybody. We have to compromise. Men need to have that sperm come out. Ladies, if you want to help that with a blow job, if you want to help that with a hand job, if you want to help that by just displaying your vagina and he can see that and then he can masturbate, great, great. But if you don't want to do that, ladies, it's going to come out anyway. I don't care. It's going to come out anyway. And if he says it's not going to, he's lying. It's going to come out. And it's going to come out at the office. It's going to come out as his secretary. It's going to come out as the neighbor. It's going to come out as pornography. It's going to come out. It's going to come out. Ladies, there's not a goddamn thing you can do to stop that. And if you spend your time, your money, your morality, and your time on trying to not let that come out, you're going to have a miserable life and you're going to fail. It's going to come out. It's going to come out. So you can either participate with him and be the leader of having that come out, the primary source of that coming out, or you have your freedom. Oh, fuck you. Don't look at pornography. Don't let the sperm out. Not going to happen. Not going to happen. So, young people, the sexuality of each gender is very, very different. The sex organs are very, very different. They are hooked to emotion. They are hooked to intellect. They are hooked to environment, the night, day, how warm the room is. Are you in the water? Are you in the pool? It's hooked to a million different things. You better study women penises. You better study them. Because if you don't, you're probably not going to have one around. Men, same thing. You better study vaginas. You better understand how they work, when they work. They orgasm very differently than men orgasm. The timing of the sexual act is very, very different between men and women. Men don't realize that if you're going to get it on tonight, that sexual act starts in the morning, helping do the dishes, the vacuuming, being kind, and that prepares her for tonight. We don't understand that. And they don't understand. We wake up in the morning, we have a heart on, we want to put it somewhere. We're going to put it in our hand, or we're going to put it in her body, or her mouth, or her vagina, or her rectum, or her hand. That's life. Don't kill the messenger. I'm 77. I've been married to 7 different women. One wife, asexual. Asexual. Look it up. I'm not going to go into it. One wife, 3 times a day, 9 years. 10,000 intercourses. They're all different. They're all different. Size, shape, emotion, behavior, all very different. I'm going to say this, and you're not going to believe this. I've said this to a little lady yesterday I was counseling. You don't know how to have good sex with your partner until about the 5th year. It takes 4 or 5 years to really get together with the opposite sex to have a fabulous sex life. The rest of it is just, you know, screwing. The rest of it, screwing, putting your shoes on, going to work. Screwing, putting your shoes on, going to work. To make it into a science, make it into a Picasso, make it into a genius experience, it takes 4 or 5 years. If you're working at it, I don't mean if you're just, you know, get up and fight. I mean, if you're really working at it, when they come into the room, and many times they don't even come into the room, you feel them. You feel your partner. And you know where they are, and you know what they're thinking, and when they enter into the presence where you can physically and sensory system pick them up, they're ready, and you're ready. And when you get together, you don't have to say anything, you don't have to do anything. It is like one human being coming on the couch, the bed, the sexual place, together. Unbelievable. If you can come at the same time that your partner can come, that puts pretty much you into another world. I don't know what the statistic is on that. I've been married, like I said, 7 times. I had one partner, my second wife, the one that we had sex 3 times a day with. When she just came in my vicinity, she was ready and I was ready all the time for 9 years. When we could come together It was like one human being. It wasn't two people coming. It was one creature expanding into the universe. Now, maybe I'm ignorant. Maybe, you know, you guys are doing that all the time, and that was an aberration for me, and I look like a horse's ass saying something. But with all the other wives, that experience wasn't there. Now, that could have been my fault, could have been their fault, could have been both of our faults. So, patience, understanding, study, and get the damn facts and the truth close. Don't let the stupidity be there in between, or you're at divorce city. Your children don't have any child support. He doesn't have any sexual partner. He smokes, he drinks, he goes to hell because he's divorced. That's the way it is. Those are the facts. They're not the truth. You all have your own truth. The facts is what I just told you. I don't have a capture of the facts. I just lived. And I said, oh, why is it that I see those two little pieces of skin with a little hair around it? I go crazy. I go crazy. I'm not going to marry it. I'm not going to propose to it. I'm not going to buy it jewelry. I'm not going to buy it a dress. I'm not going to buy it a home. I'm not going to buy it a car. I'm not going to get a 401k with it. It's just a vagina. But I like to look at those, and so does every other man. That stimulates us to get the sperm out. The sperm comes out. We don't even think about it again. Till next time. Whether that's a day, 2 days, a week, whatever. So, go do your due diligence. Go do your homework. Let's see if we can share our experience and our common knowledge. I want people to stay married. I want children to have a mother and a father. I want women to be able to be safe being pregnant. They're helpless. They can't work anymore. Once they have that baby, they're strapped with a newborn human being. They can't go get a job. They can't pay the rent. They can't buy food. They need a partner that is going to hang in there with them. But we need to compromise. We need to understand. We need to have patience. And it's not easy. It's probably the most complex thing that we ever do as a human being. Share our life sexually with somebody else of the opposite gender. Now, I'm not putting off gay people. I'm not putting off lesbian people. I have a daughter who's a lesbian. I have 7 children, 7 girls, 7 boys. So I have, you know, this ain't my first rodeo. The emotion and the principles that I'm talking about, it doesn't have to be a penis and a vagina. It doesn't have to be a penis and a penis. It doesn't have to be a vagina and a vagina. It doesn't have to be a transgender person. Oh, I cut this off because I want to be a woman. Whatever. It's human interaction. It's human sexual interaction. It has some rules, some regulations, and it has some truths and facts. When I see a vagina, I go, God dang, that looks nice. I'm not going to ask it to marry me. I just want it to be there for 5 or 10 minutes, help me get the sperm out, and then I need to go out and mow the lawn, wash the car, take the goddamn kids to school. Girls, get your ego strong. Don't put into your formula that if he looks at pornography, he doesn't love you. If he looks at pornography, you're not pretty enough. If he looks at pornography, he's going to get on his phone and try to find those whores on there and try to marry them and divorce your ass and put your kids out with no father and no child support. Get your ego together. Understand human development. Understand patience, kindness, understanding, talking, and then working. Don't touch me that way. I don't like that. Turn the light on, don't turn the light on. I like that on you, I don't like that on you. Take this position, try this, try that. Experiment. It'll take you, I said, 4 or 5 years. Eventually, it's worth it. Eventually, it's worth it. But if you're lazy and you have poor ego development and you are all worried about me, you're going to fail. You need to be thinking about you. How can I help you and your needs? What can I do to make your life better? Let me give, not take. When we're taking, we're screwing ourselves. We're shooting ourselves in both feet. So I just wanted to put this out. It's what I've learned. I'm 77 right now. Like I said, I've been married 7 times. I have 14 children, 7 girls, 7 boys. Half of them have been handicapped. I have 1 lesbian that I know about, and I have done hundreds or thousands of people in counseling. I have a daughter right now who is 21, my baby. She's having a new baby. And her family and husband, partner, is going through a lot of these things. Well, don't do this, don't do that. Well, I didn't expect this, I didn't expect that. So, men are going to get that sperm out of there. Ladies, you can help them, you can be their champion. That second wife I had, my God, I don't think I looked at her, I don't know if I looked at any pornography having sex with her 3 times a day. But the other wives, I looked at pornography. Still look at pornography. It's going to come out. And girls, if you don't like it, talk to God. Don't kill the messenger. Don't kill the messenger. I'm only telling and sharing what I've learned to this point. Tomorrow I may learn new things and I may have other opinions. But this is my experience at this particular point. That sperm is going to come out. And to get that sperm out visually, that is very important to a man. Visually, we have to see it before the sperm comes out. So, be fair to each other, be kind to each other, be understanding to each other, talk to each other, explain your feelings, your emotions, what your body will do, what it won't do, what you want, what you don't want, and build a life, build a partnership together. Thank you. I'm going to get up now, probably fall down as I usually say, and stop this particular video.